Will Levis in studio, Tennessee Titans quarterback.
Sports as a kid. What sports did you play growing up?
Anything I get my hands on.
Anything.
I'd say the main ones were baseball, basketball, football. I was playing lacrosse and baseball for about 4 years up until high school. So my dad driving me from baseball practice to the lacrosse game, and and my parents were all about it, and all my younger sisters all played sports. So just so much thanks to them for putting up with all of that. But they never pushed me into any sport. They didn't say like, hey, we want you to be a football player. They let me try everything, and that included the arts and everything with school and in sports. But
yeah, we know.
But other than that, I'd say I ran a little track in high school. Little pond hockey on the side. Didn't actually play hockey, but that was always fun. Oh yeah,
what's that?
You might have to explain that to
when it gets cold up in the Northeast. We got some ponds, and if it's smooth enough, throw some nets out there and play a little hockey.
That sounds dangerous to me, man.
Like one little crack in the zone.
Oh yeah, especially if you weigh a certain amount.
I would have cooled at the goalie spot, but yeah.
Cool at the goalie spot.
I mean, you're just stationary now. That's a high whip, boy.
So,
hey, you different.
Did you always love football most?
I'd say baseball was my first love.
Okay.
And then football, when I got to high school, became my love. And when I really kind of came into myself as a quarterback and just developed in that way, it just became a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun when you're good. So that's kind of what happened.
So what was it about football? Like, what changed it? Just that high school environment?
I didn't even play quarterback till 7th grade, so I had a couple years of just kind of figuring it out in terms of even just how to throw a football. And then things kind of clicked. I grew a little bit. I grew like 3.5, 4 inches between my freshman and sophomore year. So really kind of started coming into form, and was just able to start slinging around the yard like how I really wanted to. So it just feels good when you're able to play like how you want to or expect to play.
Will Levis with us, Titans quarterback. So was there a moment where you knew like, okay, I really could do this. I really could go play major Division I football, play in the pros. Was there a moment where you kind of like an aha thing?
I think when I got the job my sophomore year, I was competing. Actually, my buddy Luke, who is a tight end for the Cowboys, he got picked, I think, like 10 picks after me. We were competing for the starting quarterback job. I ended up beating him out. He transferred, becomes a tight end, goes to Michigan, and then we get drafted in the same round. Pretty crazy. But when I got the job there, I was like, dang, like I got an opportunity to be a 3-year starter at a pretty premier program, and obviously like in Connecticut, it's not the biggest ball, but if I can play well enough, like I got a shot here. So that was probably a moment.
Did you grow up a Penn State fan?
Not particularly. No, I didn't. I think.
What was it about them? James Franklin. We know him well, obviously.
Yeah, I was just looking for the best mix of football, academics, and social life, and the proximity to home too was also a big plus, being only just like a 5-hour drive. But my recruiting process was very unique in terms of the timeline and when I actually got the looks that I did. And quarterbacks commit as early, as your freshman year in high school, sophomore year in high school. So I didn't have many offers until the summer going into my senior year.
Really?
Yeah, and Justin Fields was committed to Penn State at the time, so then he ended up decommitting. So there was an open spot, and they're like, come out and camp. And that's how I had to earn most of my offers, just camping and showing them what I could do. But I knew that if they offered me, I was going to commit on the spot based on all the things I told you, and that's what happened.
Will Levis with us on 3HL. So what was it in terms of like portal and transferring? Like what was it about Kentucky? What was that process like for you?
I think that it was just a football decision. Like I mentioned, academic, social life. Like I didn't think of anything about that. I really knew I needed to get what I wanted to get done on the field in order to get to the next level. And the coaches, I'd say first and foremost, their communication with me and their belief in me as a player was really, really important. And then also just the ability to play in the SEC against competition to where I knew if I could succeed on that stage, then that'd put me in the best position to show that I could see at the next level. And then, no, I just think that I didn't have many other options too. Like no one else wanted me. So
I was going to say, because you only threw like 100 balls at Penn State. So there wasn't a ton of game film on you at all. So what was
That's a great point.
What was it that Stoops kind of said to you? Because remind me, I think I worked that first spring game of y'all's, but remind me, Liam he wasn't hired yet when you transferred, right?
I believe he was. Yeah, no, he was there.
So he was. Yeah. So did he talk to you, or what did Stoops say to you? Yeah,
so it was Liam speaking to me, and we had a connection actually from when I was in high school. Right?
Liam Cohen, offensive coordinator.
Correct. Yep.
Sorry.
He was at Maine, and I was at one point, like that's kind of the schools that I was looking at getting recruited by, like the CAC, whatever that is, in the Ivy League schools. So he remembered me from then. But I remembered he just like saw something in me and just saw potential. And even though I didn't have the film that, necessarily that a lot of people were looking for a transfer quarterback, he just believed in what he saw from how I was throwing the ball and just how I handled myself. So I'm just very thankful for all of them to take that shot on me.
So I remember your, like, the first offseason there at Kentucky, it's like you have to come in, you learn a completely different offense, right? I mean, than what you had already done at Penn State. You had to like get to know all of your teammates and do all that. I mean, it had to be a stressful offseason, kind of like winning the job and doing all that. But then I think about this year where you are QB1 and this is your offseason and you're doing to a lesser level kind of the same thing. Are there similarities at all, or do you pull anything from what worked there at Kentucky to this offseason where you're the dude?
Yeah, I think even though it's difficult, changing offenses, changing coaching staffs from season to season, it's definitely helped me a lot in just how to learn a playbook and
it's at least 5 in a row, right?
For sure. Yeah. No,
5 different offenses in 5.
Yeah. And I just think throughout the years I've been able to pick up different ways on how to best digest the information and let it, show on the field. And it's weird enough that you mentioned the last offense that I played in that was most similar to the one that we have now was actually that year.
Liam,
with the verbiage, or as most similar verbiage-wise, and what we're trying to get done. So I mean, I'm excited for hopefully I have some productivity similar to what I had there either.
Before we get to the Titan stuff, to piggyback off a Boom Boom Room question, what was the best road environment in college?
Best road environment in college,
like maybe intense, maybe fun.
I mean, I'm a give them credit while it's due, but I will say Tennessee. I think that game that we played my senior year there, I think it was their first kind of night showing off that new like light system they have. Like that was so cool. Like the big T on the field. I saw the videos afterwards. And they beat the brakes off us. So I mean, that was not fun for us, but I definitely appreciated and respected the environment that they were able to bring.
Will Levis with us on 3HL.
I got to know, man, as you grow from your college days to now pro, who is the weirdest person that we would not know as far as when you take something from their game? So for me, for instance, being a power forward, like I used to watch Ray Allen and his footwork so I can learn how to shoot the trailer 3 better. You know what I'm saying? So is it anybody outside of being a quarterback that you may like, linebacker, you watch his mentality, or corner, you watch his hand placement on receive? Is it anything that you've been able to take, been like you're still new in it though, so maybe you haven't gotten to that point yet, but is it anyone that you take from?
I can't think of a different position off the top of my head. I mean, I could think about like a dude like Fred Warner, like just a heady linebacker that's just able to just run the show and really just be a game manager out there on defense.
Everywhere.
And there's just been such a great, just solid defense for a long time, and watching how he's able to kind of command the troops out there is really impressive. But I just love, watching dynamic football players, regardless if it's something I can attribute my game to or not. Like, obviously, I'm not nearly as fast or shifty as a dude like Tyreek Hill, but, I love watching that dude play and just what he's able to do when he's got the ball in his hands. So, just being a fan of the game and respecting, game when you see it.
Titans quarterback Will Levis in studio. We'll talk about the Brian Callahan offense and the wide receiver room this year with Will next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.